So we have Isom number 1, Ill-Advised Part 1, part of a 3-part arc in Rippaverse Comics for Isom. That is my first comic being purchased. That is the whole reason I have a love for comics now, especially indie comics. I have just really enjoyed collecting indie comics. I really, in the past, I didn't think of them as a viable entertainment option for comics. They always seem to have kind of a stigma about them, like they're not very good, or you're just not going to get them. So I'm glad I took a chance, because now I have a real love and appreciation for them. So with that being said, let's start. So again, we have Isom Ill-Advised Part 1, written by Eric July. The story takes off with, we come across our main character, Avery / Isom. And he gets a phone call while he's doing his workout. The phone call is from his sister, Altona. She lets him know, hey, can you just take a look into, we got a missing person. Can you just take a look into it? He says, fine, I'll go after her, see where it goes. Well, the trail leads to his former friend turned mob boss, now Darren Fontano. That dude's a dick, to put it lightly. He, when talking with Avery, he was quite dismissive of him. He got his goons out on him. Avery beat them all up. Well, then he gets his except, or superpowered individual, gets him involved. His name's Santuan. Santuan says, get the hell out of here. He yeets his ass on out of the club. He bumps into Yaira, who's already in. She's already pissed off. She's fighting Alpha Corps. They're the super police. She's in a bad mood. We don't know why yet. More on that in a later book, I would imagine. So she bumps into him, gets pissed off that even happened at all, throws him up in the air, just flies on up, slams his ass down into a car, and that's it. Isom, he's out. Cut to a hospital scene. A nurse and a doctor talking about things. Got no idea who this guy is. Find he is an except of some sort because, he survived the incident. Go into his room. He's gone. Okay. He's already walking. It looks like he's already got some sort of healing factor to him. So he meets back up with his sister Altona. She is like, hey, I didn't mean for you to be out here ass hanging out of your hospital gown. Looks like you've had a rough day. So she said, hey, why don't you just cut it out? Avery's like, nah, that dickhead just disrespected me. We need to settle the score here. I'm not going to just let that slide. So he goes back to Club Merc. He's already forgotten all about Jasmine. He's on just giving Darren the old what for, for that level of respect and a trip to the hospital. He coincidentally bumps into Jasmine. Now he's just like, hey, is this good? Or is this what you want? Or are you being forced into this? Well, Jasmine's not able to really give an outright answer. And before he can press further, we have Darren's goons showing back up again. Well, Avery whoops their ass again. And then here comes Santuan, ready to, cash in on another easy victory like he did last time. This time, not so much. Avery was ready for him, puts Santuan in his place, puts him in the ground. He's not dead, just, knocked out. That's when the cops show up and automatically recognize Santuan. They're like, hey, is that Santuan? And then already just are trying to get after Avery and make him freeze. Well, it kind of shows that the cops already paid off by Darren. So he gets out of there. He knows, okay, that I blew my chance. Okay, I gotta recoup. We gotta get my family safe because Darren like I said, he's a thug, he's a jerk. Um, he's going to retaliate. No way that he's not going to. He didn't get where he was by being a nice guy. So he gets back with Altona and says, hey, you and Vassie, Altona's daughter, you guys need to take care of yourselves. I got you a gun. Make sure you have it on you at all times, even when you're at your job. Make sure that you are safe. Make sure Vassie is safe. And then he says, okay, I was in the superhero life. I gave it all up, but you know what? After this, I see bad times coming. I need to get my suit back. So we then cut to Taylorsville, where they specialize in making suits for, exeps, and there was the wrestling league that they were giving suits to. We need to get my suit back, and the owner of the establishment there says, okay, that's fine, but I'm not going to let you just go with what you have. That's old, it's outdated. I need to get you something new. So we just need to make sure everything fits. And the final scene is we got Avery stepping out in his costume, and he's like, "Yep, still fits." End comic there. So that's where the story ends. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't like bored like reading it. I felt very engaged. I was enjoying turning each page and seeing where the story went. I did not feel like it was a letdown even after the multiple times that I read it. So we do have a few subplots that also were going on in there. We have Yaira with the Alpha Core, where she beat the hell out of Avery. Well, she was in the middle of the fight with Alpha Core. For what reason, we don't know yet, and that's great. I want to know more. So hopefully, with future installments, we get to see what that whole ordeal was all about. Also, at Avery's farm there, his manager Sam noticed that there was a potential break-in, and the last scene we get to see with him is gun drawn going into this place, and then that cuts. So it'll be really interesting to see where that goes. And then, of course, Darren does want to send a message to Avery and anybody else who would dare want to challenge him in his position at his club or any other establishment he has. We see him pretty much putting out a hit on Avery and his family, that nothing is off limits. So that certainly would mean Altona, his parents, Vassie, even his farm, all of these things. So it'll be really, really nerve-wracking to see where, what might happen. Can Avery stop anything bad from happening to his family? Is somebody going to end up dying? These are things that I'm really excited to learn where it goes. And also, right at the very end of this comic, we get introduced to a little group called Norfolka. At least they are a band who at least two of their group members seem to be excepts as well, and may not even be from Earth. They seem to be tracking somebody or some sort of entity of some sort within the world, and are starting to sense that it's about time to make their move. So also very interested to see where Norfolka goes. Just some of the people that we want to, just touch on, our main players in this comic, where, of course, Avery, he is our main protagonist. He is the owner of Silman Farms. He appears to have super strength, as demonstrated with his the ability to put Santuan in his place in that second fight. His healing factor is, he's got a quick healing factor to him. He was able to get out of that hospital after getting banged up by Yaira. And possibly super speed. There was a clip in there that seemed like he got out of Santuan's way real quick to give him a counter. To me, that was saying, maybe he's not like crazy quick like Flash or anybody, but he at least could be fast enough to get out of the way what many would think it would be like an unnatural speed. So next it would be like his sister Altona, who sent him on this crazy journey. She works for the company Projexis. She has one child, Vassie, and they're definitely going to be of concern going forward. You know, their safety after seeing what Darren did. Speaking of, we have Darren Fontano. He was an old childhood friend of Avery's. He's a mob boss. Looks like he's very powerful. Has the cops on payroll. He's the owner of Club Merc, along with a couple other establishments. So definitely somebody you don't want to mess with. Like I said before, he's a certifiable dickhead. So interesting to see where he goes. And then Santuan. I was really interested with Santuan. He's kind of your gun for hire. You know, he's just big, strong dude. Mean. He'll pretty much do anything from the sounds of it for the right price. So nothing's off limits. He sounds like he's going to be a thorn in many sides going forward within the Rippaverse realm. The primary location for this place was in Flores Park, Texas. As a general whole, Stillman Farm seems to be right on the outside of it, and in what's called the Shadow Valley. So it's like, here's Flores Park, it's right over here, close enough to get to Flores Park if needed. Club Merc, it's just our first establishment that we have seen owned by Darren, where the majority of this takes place. And then finally, right at the end of the Isom part is Taylorsville. It seems like a high-tech facility where they specialize in creating costumes for, exhibits, and they mentioned the wrestling league as well. So yeah, lot of fun stuff that I really enjoyed just in the beginning here. Let's just go with some of the things that I really liked here. I really enjoyed the action sequences. We got to see plenty of fight from the Yaira and Alpha Core scrimmage. We didn't get to see the conclusion of that one because from our POV, it was just letting us know, okay, this is going on while Avery and Darren are talking. And when Santuan throws him out there, he interrupts that fight and then gets knocked out, thrown in the hospital. And that's the last that we see of that fight at all. But I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see more of it. Also liked watching Avery beat on the goons from Darren's goons there, as well as having those fights with Santuan, especially that second one. Because, Santuan comes out all cocky, like, dude, seriously, I just whooped your ass earlier today. You really want to go for another one, huh? Fine. And gets surprised, to be honest. He was just like, oh, wow, this, can't believe that's coming. Lots of cliffhangers. Really enjoyed that. I don't at all consider those a bad thing, so long as they get, the ends get tied. We find out what happens. We get that little cliffhanger with Sam, the manager, going and investigate what's in there. I want to have a resolution of that. So I know that this is a 3-part arc. So hopefully the majority of them. I don't expect all of them to be wrapped up in this story arc. Like, I don't expect to see the end of Yaira and Alpha Core and see what that is as part of Isom's arc. I expect to see that as either part of the Alpha Core story or Yaira. So hopefully I get to see more of what happened there. Why was she doing anything to get them to come out there? And so on and so forth. there's really like one thing that just kind of it would pull me out from time to time. One scene in particular, and it's just some of the dialogue can be a little clunky at times. That's really my biggest negative here. That's really about the only thing that I can find that really just kind of pulled me out of it. The scene in particular is actually when Avery talks to Darren in the first place. At the first meeting at Club Merc, he goes to, goes there, and Darren then proceeds to tell Avery's life story. Now that's for our benefit, but it just doesn't make sense. We have all of this dialogue being exchanged, but Avery knows his story. Why is Darren telling him that outside of just so we have some backstory? To me, it could have been better as some sort of like narration blip, or even like telling a third party. Like Darren, he's in a meeting with like a senator or a governor, whomever. He's demonstrated that he has power, so then we can see, okay, how far out does it reach a little bit? And maybe you have some, suit sitting over there, and Darren's like, hey, I grew up with this guy. We, he was, not that great at sports. It never really bothered him. His sister outperformed him, and he's doing some crazy stuff. And just kind of explaining all of that to somebody else, and then still turns real cold on Avery, and everything still proceeds. So that's really about the only negative that really bothered me. But outside of that, man, I give this book a good thumbs up. Like I said, this thing got me into comics as a whole. Like, I have been, since this book has come out, I've been on a spending, bonanza. My wife, bless her soul, she has been driven nuts. I've just been buying up comic after comic. Like, this thing has given me a lot to get excited for. So, but that's all I have for Isom 1. Let me know what you think, and also I would love to know what you guys think I should review next. As far as independent comics, I'm not looking for Marvel or DC in particular. IDW and Dark Horse and Image, I might. To be honest, I know for a fact I'm not doing any Marvel or DC. So, I got plenty more coming. I am going to follow it up with Isom 2 here going forward. But I got some stuff from Stuntman Comics. I got some from Compass, 9 Lives. So if you guys know of anything, just let me know in the comments. And I'll be sure to make a purchase. And when I have it, I'll review it. And we'll get going. So thanks again, guys, for watching the video. God bless.